Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm going to be talking to you about the power of positive thinking and changing the way that you think to help change your life and lead to better outcomes. So my name's James Parsons-Moore. I'm a normal guy. Those of you who know me may not think this, but I am a normal guy, just like yourselves. I've had ups and downs in life. I've always thought of myself as a positive thinker, and I know personally it's helped me get through nearly everything that I face in my life. 2016 was a bit of a bad year for most of us. It really was. For me personally, worst year of my life. Okay, but I don't want to be negative. Someone said to me, 2016 is the worst year ever. I said, I'm pretty sure in 1666 we had the bubonic plague and it wiped out most of humanity. Pretty sure that was the worst year ever. So what I'm going to do is I want to change the way that you look at every situation. So you can flip it upside down, change your perspective, which will alter your perception and lead you being much more positive to lead to better outcomes in everything that you do. God, one click to you. So when we look at every single situation in our life, we can look at it, and we can look at it in a certain way, but no two people will look at the same thing in a different way. So when you see this image just here, do you see a duck? Or do you see a really strange, green-headed creature wearing a dog mask?
A duck.
Look carefully.
Dog.
Can you see the dog?
I can see the dog.
You see it? Did you ever see the dog before?
I have to admit.
No,
I
look at
can't
the-
see the dog.
Yeah.
There's a dog there with its tongue licking its... No?
I see the tongues.
Yeah, you
The
see
eyes
it.
of the hole.
Yeah, exactly. I've ruined your lives now. You're never going to be able to get down the park and see the same thing.
That's it now.
Yeah, wait. Do you see Australia?
Could be Antarctica.
It could be, but it is Australia. Or do you see a dog's head and a cat's head eating some food? I've now ruined the atlas for you as well, haven't I? Somebody pointed these things out to me a couple of years ago. And I went, you know what, I've never seen that before. I've never actually looked at it in that way. And it does change the way you look at things sometimes. No two people look at things in the same way. So perspective. Perspective is defined by a particular attitude towards or way of regarding something. It's a point of view. That means everybody's point of view will be different whenever you look at anything. You can look at the sun as being massive, or you can look at the sun as something you can hold in your hand. Okay? By changing your perspective, you can make the impossible possible. You can change the way you look at anything and have a completely different attitude. This image here means a lot to me. Okay, it's just a random image. I spend a lot of time on Instagram. I go through memes and stuff like that. If anyone's ever done it, it's how I waste most of my time. It's why I spend most of my time on the toilet, to be honest. And last year I was feeling particularly down at one point, and I see this image, and for some reason it perked me up. And I wasn't sure why it perked me up. I'm not one for kind of sharing things on Facebook and Instagram, but I shared this. And I said, this image is a great image, I love it, it's really perked me up. And a few people said, yeah, it's a nice image. And then one person challenged me. I said, why do you like that image? And I was just about to say, well, you see Eclipse, and Eclipse is cool, isn't it? And it's just a nice image. And I sat back and I thought, actually, why do I like this image? So I took a little bit of time, looked at it, and that's what I want you to do right now for a few moments. Just look at that image and have a think about what it can mean to you, why it could lift you, why it can make you look at things differently. I'm just going to write a few things down, so have a few seconds just to think about it before I tell you the kind of things that I write. I wrote something a little bit heartfelt on Facebook about it. I got a lot of nice comments, but I want to see if it kind of can invoke the same feelings in you. Now just call out, raise your hand, but I want you to think about why that could lift you. Has anybody got any ideas?
Mind-boggling.
Mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Okay, why is it mind-boggling?
The size.
The size, perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you've got to.
Yeah, I think, it's the fact that we are, that our problem, or, our problems, are in reality, pretty tiny compared to, everything else that's going on in this world or in the universe or whatever. It's pretty insignificant when you
It
kind of
is.
like when you break it down like that.
That's one of the things I took about, one of the big words I took out of it was perspective. It really was. And when, I think I made up a word, perspectification. I'm pretty sure it doesn't exist, but I definitely put that one on there. And a few of the things that I said about it was, I said sometimes when you're feeling down, if you can rise above the clouds, you never know what you can see. There could be something beautiful waiting. Sometimes life's about timing. At this particular moment, when they rose above the clouds, they managed to catch that once-in-a-lifetime moment of being able to catch something as beautiful as the eclipse. And not only that, if you stand back and actually look a bit further, if you look into the background, you can actually see the rest of the galaxy. Now, your eyes don't get drawn to that straight away, but a little bit of lateral thinking, a little bit of looking at things a bit different, you can see the entire of the Milky Way behind it. And it was thought-provoking for me, and it really did make me think. So, I want us to be positive, but before we get onto positivity, we need to kind of address the negative side of things. We all know that one person, that negative person. For me, it's my mum. I love my mum. Unfortunately, she suffers from something called acute hypochondria. And whenever you speak to her, I know for a fact that if I say, "Hi mum, you okay?" the answer won't be, "Yes darling, how are you?" It's always, "Oh, my head hurts. Oh, my bum hurts. Oh, something." It always is. And it kind of makes you feel like you've all got that one person. It makes you feel like not wanting to ask. Now, negativity, unfortunately, causes complaining, which causes more negativity, which causes more complaining, and so on and so on. It's a vicious circle. Negative energy breeds more negative energy in the same way. They say that change happens when the pain of staying the same is more than making a change. Okay, so if you are not happy with a situation how it is, then you can change it. Okay? Life won't change unless you change it yourselves. You've probably heard the saying before, is a physics word, I think it was Newton. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. But it's the same in life. You put into something what you get out of it. I've always been a firm believer of that. If you put negative things into something, negativity comes back out the other way. If you put positive energy into something, you will get that out of it. It's not always easy. But like I say, if it's not easy, step back, have a look at it, come at it from a different approach. There are a few actionable things that you can do to make these changes. They say the brain doesn't just observe the world. What it does, it actually paints a second picture, a second image of what you see. That second image is what we call perception. It's our perception that actually creates our reality in the way that we think about things. What we can do, we can have a look at this picture just here. And when we look at this picture, we can do one of two things. We can complain that a rose bush has thorns. Or we can look at it and rejoice that a thorn bush has roses. It's two different ways of looking at it. It depends on your output and your own perception on how you think about things, but it's an easy thing to change. Is the glass half full or is it half empty? It's one that we've all heard. And lastly, everybody in this room has the ability to make changes. If you're feeling negative, you are the ones that can change it. Albert Einstein stated something along the lines of, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results is the definition of an insanity. If you're not happy with the way things are going, change what you're doing. Change your inputs into something. Look at it in a different way. You have the ability, everybody in this room has the ability to make these changes. I want you, after leaving here, to take these steps, look at things. I challenge you to look at things in a different way. Remember, positivity breeds more positivity, which breeds more positivity. It's contagious, it really, really is. Smiling at somebody, saying thank you, opening a door, causes that person to do the same thing as we walk down the corridor. All of this positivity, hopefully, will lead to better outcomes in your life. I challenge you to do this. Change the way you think, change the way you look at things, be more positive, spread that positivity, and get better outcomes. We all have bad things in our lives. Your family may be halfway around the world. Don't worry, you'll see them soon.
Ooh.
Promise. You may have loved ones that are going through a hard time at the minute. I promise from my own experiences, your positivity will help him. I 100% promise that to you. I had a bad year last year, I really did. But at the end of it, I had something amazing. It got me through. And you never know what's going to come in your life. Stay positive, people. Thank you very much. You freaking cried at the end there.